Hey everyone, this is Elias from RevMatch Media, and today we're going to be taking a look at the 2024 Chevrolet Trax RS. Now, I've already reviewed a Trax before, so is this going to be love at second Trax? Well, let's get started. Now, like I mentioned, I've already reviewed an active trim, so I'll go ahead and add the link for you guys to take a look at that if you're going more towards that. But here we get started in the front and we're looking at the RS, and the RS is going to be a little bit sleeker, a little bit sportier, so to speak, with this. And we do see that in the front. So the front bumper is a little bit of a different design compared to the Active. Yeah, it's a little bit sleeker, but I kind of liked the Active's aggressive front end a little bit more. We do have this beautiful blue color though, which looks spectacular. In the sun, you're gonna see it's gonna be a little bit of a kind of a baby blue, but once it starts getting a little bit darker, it does get a little bit richer in that color, and it just looks good. We do have the daytime running light, which is kind of like a blade we have up here. And then we have the actual headlights. The LED headlights are at the bottom. So yeah, they're not the top part, it is the bottom part. And they look good, I love it. You know, it's a great design. My wife has a Trailblazer, so it kind of matches that design aspect as well. So we have that there. And this grill is really nice. I do like the black bow tie. It just adds some coolness to it as opposed to the yellow bow tie. So I love this. The texture is really fun. You can kind of hear it. Yeah, I love that. We do have this kind of upper grill part of it that spans out to the rest of the bumper. It's kind of like a black chrome. So I love that look to it, that color. It's not super shiny, but it's not just black paint. So love the way that this looks. The actual grill itself it is gonna be a normal black gloss color. So we have that there. And again, like I said, the lower part is going to be what's going to differentiate a little bit from the Active. So we do have a little bit of a black lower area here in the bumper, which looks nice little design to it. But overall though, this looks nice. Again, yes, it's a little bit sleeker, it's a little bit kind of slimmed down, while the Active was a little bit more aggressive. I think the Active gets the win on the front end. So let's go ahead and see what we have under this hood. We get under the hood and we have the 1.2 liter Ecotec turbocharged 3-cylinder engine, and it is cranking out 137 horsepower and 162 pound-feet of torque. It is connected to the 6-speed automatic and then to the front wheels. Now, yes, it is a 3-cylinder engine, but don't be fooled by it. It's actually a really great little engine. The power delivery, it's there. Not on the low end as much, but mid to high range was great. You know, we do get the torque max to be at 2,500 RPM, so it's a little bit on the higher mid to higher side of things, which is mainly because the turbo looks a little bit on the bigger side, so it probably takes a little bit longer to spool from the exhaust gases of a 3-cylinder engine. It's fun because when you're just kind of cruising and you hammer it and it drops the gears, which isn't too fast. Don't expect the transmission to really kick things in, but when it does get to the lower gear and the turbo is spooled up, it immediately gives you that little surge of power, which was nice. A little bit of torque steer as well, which was fun to say the least. But yeah, the turbocharger, the 3-cylinder engine, the transmission again wasn't bad, but don't expect, like I said, super fast downshifts. The power delivery to the front, everything was fine. Everything was great. It is a fun little car to want to drive. Yeah, I was still in love with this little power plant. So let's go ahead and see what we have in those wheels and tires. We get down to the wheel and tire package and we have this big 19-inch wheel, and it is wrapped in the 245/45 Continental Pro Contact tire. Now, a couple of things with this. With the Active, we did have a smaller wheel to this. With a Meteor tire, we had that kind of all-terrain tire on it. Yeah, this looks nice, but that Active performed, with that wheel and tire package, performed, I think, a little bit better for the road. You know, maybe not the best, smoothest of roads. That was kind of the clear winner on this. But we do have a cool design. I love this design. We have the polished front face with the colored inserts. Now, this is black but it is such a sparkling black color. It's insane how much this sparkles. The tire, the grip is there. You don't have that much power to really overpower the tires. You know, the road noise was not a problem. The feel though was a little bit of a problem because you did have that that smaller sidewall that just didn't perform that well. Funny, we just had a white, sorry to interrupt, I don't know if it caught it, but a white Trax just passed by, which looked like an Active actually. And yeah, the other thing, the brakes on this are incredible. The pedal feel is just so dead on. I love it. This is almost a sports car feel, so loving the way that this handles. And the suspension was good. So let's go ahead and see what we have on the side. We get to the side and this thing is nice. I love the proportions, I love the shape, I love the size to it. It's not super big, it's not super small. It's kind of on that segment of, is it a CUV or is it just a good old hatchback? So I love the size that we have with this. And let's take a look at some of the different elements. We can see the hood over here. We have that really sharp, strong line on the hood there. We do have the 19-inch wheels, so we can see with the 19-inch wheels how much it kind of fills up the wheel well on there. Like I said, I kind of like the Active's smaller wheel with the bigger tire. I believe that was 18-inch if I'm not mistaken. So one size down, meatier tire. So love that. And we have the fender covers here, which look really nice. Nice, good texture to them. And it follows all the way down and goes to the rear there. Now, we have the black mirrors and black framing, which looks so good. And it is a textured finish to it there. We do also have the roof rails up here for you to attach anything that you may want for additional storage there. And this color, this color is so nice. I love the blue to this. It just looks really, really nice. Overall though, I like the way that this looks. Now I have the key fob in my pocket. I'll go ahead and lock the car. And when I put my hand in here, it's not gonna sense it and it's not gonna open. And that's because it does have a chrome button here for you to press to unlock the car, and then you're good to go in. Again, really no issues with getting in. Press it there to lock. And yeah, the front's not gonna have it. The rear doesn't have a button either, which is kind of a shame. I'd like to have that kind of continuity with things. And yeah. There you go. You kind of have to do it twice so that it can open up the rear on there. So like I said, a good amount of space. And that's really kind of what we have with the side profile. So let's go ahead and see what we have in the back. We get to the back and like I said, you kind of get a fun look to this. So there's a couple of things I really like. Let's start from the top. We have this rear spoiler here that kind of sticks out a little bit. I love it. It just adds that little bit more of a boy racer cool aspect to it. So love the design on there. We do have the third brake light incorporated right in here. We also have a rear wiper. Now, even though the window isn't that big, I really didn't have any issues with looking out the back. So other thing is, this is actually pretty tinted. I was surprised at how much the rear glass was tinted. So kind of nice, especially when we're in Texas and it is so hot in the summers. We do get the black bow tie, which looks really, really nice. Same thing with the Trax badging that goes in black, but we do get the chrome and red RS. So loving this, the way that this looks. And I love the swoop design. It is kind of creating its own design line, so it sticks out a little bit. But yeah, love the design, love the way that those look. Down here, we have a little bit more of a black plastic that is that textured, and then finished with kind of that black, really shiny color down here. Now, we don't get the exhaust tips, we don't see that. So yeah, would have been nice, but you do get it with the Trailblazer, which is what my wife has, which I like. I like having those. They're not real exhaust tips, but it looks nice. But overall though, I love this rear of the Trax. So let's go ahead and pop the hatch and see what we have in here. We take a look at the back and we can open it by pressing that button there. And there's a decent amount of space. So don't expect a lot though. So you can see I have 2 cases of water there. I do have my backpack on top there just to kind of show you the height. So you do have to be careful though with the height, because when this guy does drop down, it's gonna limit you with how high you can put things on. So a lot of times you may see yourself kind of taking this cover off. Honestly, I wish I had this in my Trailblazer, because I don't, and I have to use a really rinky-dink one that Chevy offers, because no one else offers an aftermarket one. So I kind of wished this were a thing in my Trailblazer, but it's nice because it can cover things that you may have. And we don't have any space here on the right, but we do have a little bit of a space here on the left. And underneath here, I'll just kind of squeeze it in, but you do get a spare tire down there with some space. It is a donut. Sorry, those things are heavy. But overall though, it's not a bad amount of space that you get back here in this little hatch. So I'll go ahead and close this off, and there you go. We get inside of the Trax RS, and yeah, there's some things I kind of like this over the ACTIV. So let's go ahead and take a look at those. We get started on the door, and a couple of things. So we do have a more durable hard plastic up here. This is what I love on the RS over the ACTIV. We do have kind of this probably synthetic leather, but the red stitching just looks so nice in this. I do love it more than I did in the ACTIV, because you got that weird yellow kind of stitching to stuff. But yeah, I do love, and on the seats, which we'll see, but the red looks definitely a lot better. We have the controls for the windows. Unfortunately, no auto up on this, but we do have this shiny plastic cover here, which looks nice. Yeah, it's kind of scuffed up here a little bit, but it's super shiny and it's just a good design. Then we have an area for cup holder. Nice big long bottle will fit there with no problem. And then the speaker system there. We come over to the seats, and yes, this is what I love. I love this over the ACTIV. Yes, and let's take a look at a couple of things. So at the top, we do get the RS stitching on there, which looks really, really nice. The seats have been comfortable themselves, no issues with that. We do get, again, this red line there and red piping and, you know, little RS badging there, but it just looks nice. It looks nice. They performed well, no issues as far as like comfortability. We do have manual adjustments on the side there for the seats, but overall though, I'm really happy with the design of the RS version. We take a look at this steering wheel, and yeah, this steering wheel is definitely the winner over the ACTIV, and let's see why. So first of all, the feel is nice. I do love the leather wrapped with the dimpled leather right in there. Yeah, feels comfortable in my hand, really nice and soft leather right above here, which is a nice touch to things. We do get the black badge on the airbag there, or on the horn. And yes, we do get red stitching as well. Love it. Definitely what I prefer. Just give it some pop. But what makes it really special is this. We get a flat bottom steering wheel with the RS over the Trax. So definitely prefer this. Again, it's just a cool, more racer kind of look to it, and it just psychologically is just, it feels a lot more fun. We'll say it at that. But yeah, that's kind of what you get with the steering wheel. And on the back, we do get the buttons for the volume and the next track, which have been crucial for me, because you'll see why those rear volume buttons have been crucial for me when we get to the infotainment system. We get over to the gauge cluster, and a couple of things with this. So it is an all digital display, and this reminded me one thing. I'm sure it's been a while since I've watched the other video, but I definitely probably hated this in the other one. To change the gauge cluster, or what options you have to push down and hold the button on the steering wheel in order to change those options. So we have gauge 1, gauge 2 looks like this, and it basically rotates and fills up like a turbocharger, kind of, yeah, just kind of like a snail, like my kid said. And then we push down and hold the button again. We go to gauge 3, and that is when you get the other option, which is kind of like a circle, and it fills up that kind of item there. Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of that, so I was kind of confused again why we still have this problematic or just kind of confusing system where we have to push down and hold it. Now I have vehicle info, and I'm having to go into the infotainment screen to change what this item is here on the screen, which was kind of a letdown because it's so much more work I have to do in order to literally just change through things that can easily be done on the little scroll wheel of the steering wheel. Infotainment, obviously we have this, and we can change the info there, or clean, and it's literally just gonna be that. I've been pretty much in gauge 2 because it's kind of cool. I like it. Reminds me of a turbocharger, just kind of spooling up and spinning in circle, in essence of filling up that item there. But yeah, that's kind of a letdown. I wish the gauge cluster were a little bit easier to manage, to change the options that you have with it. We get over to the infotainment screen, and this thing is big. It's nice, it's clear, it's sharp, it's bright. It's everything you kind of want it to be. So it's impressive. I like it. It's not too bad of an infotainment system, except the volume button that is right there, which, let me show you my kind of perspective. Did you see where it went? Yeah, it's kind of really hidden back here to get to. Not what I like. Would have been nice to have maybe a knob. Hell, you could probably have put it under here, which would have been nice, or even on the right side, so that both you, yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a stretch, but you can actually see it, and your passenger can reach for it as well. So maybe for next update or something, probably there, or like I said, in the middle would have been a nice touch. But other than that though, we have wireless Apple CarPlay, no issues with that. We do have the kind of awkward option that I don't remember it being here, but to turn off traction control, you have to go through the infotainment screen, which, yeah, you don't really turn off traction control nowadays. Things are really good, but you know, just if you want to have fun, I just kind of found it awkward that we have to do it through there and not through a button. That's why I said I've been pretty much in the wireless Apple CarPlay environment, because it's been fine, no issues with connectivity or anything like that. So yeah, it's pretty good and pretty impressive. Because this is the RS, we do get a little bit of a badge right there on the dashboard. And bear with me, it's a little tough to kind of film because it's super reflective on that piano black plastic. So I'll just kind of show you where that lives, and it is on the passenger side. Yeah, I'm having to sit here to kind of block any sun so I can show you that. The other thing as well that's kind of cool is we get the red on the AC vent, which I really love, and that line there, really cool vent. I do love the fact that we just kind of slide things over to close it on there, and then we have the positioning of up and down right in there. But yeah, we have that red, that trim, that badge for the RS. We come down here to the climate controls, and very simple, very straightforward, no issues there, no complaints. It's pretty self-explanatory, kind of what you want. We have a single climate zone though, so you don't have a passenger and a driver scenario, so everyone gets the same temperature, so they're gonna have to deal with it. We come down and we have connections for USB-C and USB-A, and this one does have the wireless charger. Now, yes, with this thing, let me just say it's been a hit or miss. I don't remember how it was with the other one, but we'll do the chuck test, and the chuck test has been pretty good because I've been really chucking the hell out of my phone. They're probably just a bad throw, but I've been chucking it, and it's been pretty good at charging, but then it doesn't stay charging. So it's kind of been a little sensitive as far as like any movement will throw it off. So then I'm just having to kind of reach to jiggle it a little bit, catch it in the good spot, and then it happens again on the next turn or something like that. So it's been a little difficult to manage and keep that up. We come back a little bit more to these buttons, and we literally just have two options. We have the auto start stop, and then we have the lane keep assist on there. We come back to the shifter, and yes, this is nice. I love that little RS right there in red. It's got that anodized finish to it, which is really nice. We have the stitching on the shifter boot there as well, which is nice. And again, we have just very simple gear selections. We don't have a manual mode. We do have like an L to limit the specific gear, but it's, yeah, I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of it. But overall though, it's a pretty cool looking shifter because we get red. Coming over to the cup holders, yeah, they're pretty good. This one is a little bit on the wobbly side, so it isn't gonna have like those grips that other vehicles have, but it's been fine. No issues with that. Really big space between them, so that if you do get your big gulps, they're not gonna touch, or just really big cups, they're not gonna be touching with each other. So yeah, really nice. And then we have back here, which is my wife's favorite on her Trailblazer, is this nice little cubby area. So just have my little camera filter there, but it's just another little area where you can just put something small, tissue paper, you know, tissue box, your key. You can put, God, just it's a nice little cubby that is useful. And then we come to the armrest, which is not bad. It's more rubber than anything. It doesn't feel bad, but it doesn't feel plush or anything. We open it up and it's okay. It doesn't have too much space, but it definitely can put in a good amount of little items right in there. We get to the back and the door is pretty simple. Again, we have that hard plastic. It is a little bit of a flatter design, so you don't really get that much of an armrest on this one at the top, so you do get it at the bottom. This is also hard plastic, so just be aware of that. It's not going to give you the comfort that you would get in the front. We have obviously your window control and an area for a cup, which is just making sure that it's more of a bottle than a cup because obviously you're needing to kind of wiggle things to get it in there. But we get to the back, and the back isn't too bad. We have a decent amount of space in the back here. We have the red on here. We don't get the red stitching though on the headrest, which is kind of awkward because I wish it had the red stitching. And we do get nice comfortable seats though. I really love the feel to them. We get a little bit more red down here, and we have my kiddo seat right in there. Only thing though is it's been tough for him to buckle in, as you can see, to get this. My parents were also kind of sitting back here, and it was tough because these guys really go down, and it makes it difficult for you to really pull them out and have someone buckle in. And we also don't have a middle armrest because my kid didn't tell me, hey, there's secret hidden cup holders. So just be aware of that. We do have USB-A connection, USB-C, a little bit of cubby, but that pretty much gives you what you get in the rear. So we go for a drive, and everything is good. Everything is kind of where it's supposed to be, minus that volume knob there, which we already discussed. But I feel really comfortable, no issues with that. So with that, let's go ahead and get moving. And the one thing I do notice, which was a little bit different than the ACTIV, was the feel of the road. Yeah. And it feels a little bit stiffer in the sense of, you know, we feel more of the road because of the fact that we have the larger 19-inch wheels. So we are going to feel that a little bit more than if we had the 18-inch wheel with the, you know, bigger sidewall tire, which, like I said, I kind of like the ACTIV more with the front look, the wheels. But then the interior of the RS is just so nice. I love black and red. It is such a, yeah. it's always a yes for me if it comes down to the option of red or black or a different option. But as far as the drive though, like I said, you are gonna feel the road a little bit more through those bigger wheels. Other than that though, it's still pretty good. It still feels nice. It still feels comfortable though. You get, again, some feedback on the wheel. But let's go ahead and let's hit some of the twisties, because that's where I really want to talk about the performance of this little guy. Yeah, it's crazy how I'm wanting to talk about performance in a not really powerful CUV. So my favorite thing about this Trax is the brakes. The fact that I can really brake hard on this, and the pedal is so rewarding. I love the feel to this pedal. And you know, the turning in and the steering wheel feel is really good. You still have a good amount of weight. There's not really much of a dead spot on this, but the brakes are so good in this. It's it's funny because it just reminded me of, like, okay, you know, how do I want a performance car to feel? It's crazy how this little car can give me such a performance feel. Now, yeah, again, we kind of hammered down, and it's gonna take a bit for it to kind of get there. There is no sport mode, unfortunately. There isn't in this, and there isn't a there is a manual mode, but it's more of a limit kind of thing. So it's, I can put the L and I can limit the gear it's gonna shift into, but that's really it. So it doesn't really work like a true manual mode. But like I said, the turn in, the feel to it, okay, maybe not the power that much, but the braking is so good. Yeah, it would be kind of cool to see a racing series with these little things, because they're small, feel fairly lightweight, and yeah, they got some pep to it. They have a little bit of a pep to them. Let's go ahead and we will do the 3-point stop, see how this goes. So a little bit off on there, and let's see if we can catch it. I think we're good. Yeah, it's a pretty good turning radius. So we'll go ahead and put it in drive. Oh, have it in drive. We'll load up a little bit and go. Yeah, it's not super fast, but again, you can brake really late and yeah, make up for that time that you lost when the other car is already ahead of you. You know, that Miata effect. But like I said though, it is a fun little car to drive. It's got some pep. It does have enough power for highway passing. That I will give it to the Trax, because I have been driving it on the highway and doing that. The only thing though on the highway drives that has kind of surprised me with this is it's a little bit more aerodynamic looking than my wife's Trailblazer, but this was getting tossed around significantly more in higher speeds, you know, with any wind gusts or anything like that. So I was just kind of confused, because again, like I said, this has a lower roof line to essentially be sleeker than my wife's taller Trailblazer is. So yeah, that was kind of the only thing. I was having to kind of tug a little bit at the wheel to counter any wind or any car that was passing faster, because yeah, it is a little bit more susceptible to those gusts of winds that we've been having recently. But overall though, this thing has impressed me yet again, even with this being the second Trax that I review. Yeah, it's been fun. It's still a fun little car. It's still a great value. It's an insane value for what you get. And yeah, we have the nice red interior. Everything is just so perfect. If we didn't have constraints with inventory when my wife and I had to buy you know, a vehicle, we definitely would have gotten this, but we're really happy with the Trailblazer itself. Well guys, I hope you've enjoyed my review of the 2024 Chevrolet Trax RS. And remember, find the right gear. See ya.